My name is John, and I will be doing my video on different types of wind there are. To start off, we're going to start with valley breeze. Now, a valley breeze happens during the daytime, and it usually it's happening over a mountain. It's where wind and air on both sides of the mountain rise up the mountain and then converge at the top together, and they form a cumulus cloud at the top of the mountain. And this is happening because the warm air is traveling up the mountain because there's a low pressure system sitting at the mid-high level of the mountain, and it travels up there during the day because of the heat that's radiating down from the sun, and it just rests up at the top of there due to the low pressure system. And then during the night, it is actually called a mountain breeze because um, the wind is traveling down the mountain, so it's coming from the mountain, so it's blowing, and it's just mountain breeze. And that's because during the night, there's no more heat radiating down on the valley and the mountain to cause the wind to travel up, so it starts to cool down at the top, and the cumulus cloud that was there during the daytime usually starts to dissipate, and the air diverges down the sides of the mountain and goes back down to the valley that's at the base of the mountain, and it brings all that cool air down there to them at the night. And at the mid-high level of the mountain, there is a high-pressure system that is associated with cool air. Next, we're going to be talking about sea breeze. Yeah, there we go. Now, a sea breeze is wind and air that travels from a body of water like the sea to land. And what that does is it has a high pressure system in the water area, which is cool water, and this is because the water has a higher specific temperature than the land does, and it is colder during the day because the sun's radiation and heat affects the land more quickly than it does the water, so the water stays cooler during the day than the land does. So the everything likes to be evened out in equilibrium, so the high pressure system that's in the water wants to move towards the low pressure system that's on land. So there's a breeze of air that's being pushed towards the land, and then as it hits the low pressure system on land, it starts to warm up, and as it warms up, it shoots up into the sky where there's a high pressure system above the land, and then it goes over back towards the sea where there's a low pressure system in the sky, and then goes back down to the high, and it just keeps running around in a little vent thing. And for us Michiganders, we don't have a sea here, but since we have all the Great Lakes surrounding us, we have what is called the lake breeze instead of a sea breeze. And during the nighttime, actually, this is what happens: a land breeze. And a land breeze, it happens during the night because there's no more sun being down heat on everything in the world, so the land is starting to cool down faster than the water because again the water has a higher specific heat, so it's retaining its temperature longer than the land can. So the high temperature cool air from the land is moving towards the low temperature warm air from the water, and then as it hits the water, it's going up into the sky above the water where there's a high pressure system, and it's traveling towards a low pressure system above land, and then back down towards the high pressure system of cool air on the land, and it just keeps circulating like that all through it, and that's what your land breeze is during the night. And if you're inland, here's a local wind. Local winds are actually it's wind that's just going to keep going and going on a specific path that's like that orange dotted line if there was no water there. But since there's water there, the wind is actually getting a change. It's changing because over land it's used to a specific friction from hitting the ground and like that, and it goes at a normal speed. But once it hits the water, it has less drag because of there's not as much friction there for it and resistance. So it speeds up, and it actually gets a stronger Coriolis force, and it changed its direction a little bit, and that's why it adjusted in direction over the water and kept on going. And the last form of wind I'm going to be talking about is a monsoon wind. There we go. Now, monsoon is actually Arabic for the word like it's changed, and it can happen in Southeast Asia and in some parts of North America, and it during where is it? There we go. During winter in Southeast Asia, there's a high pressure system that sits inland, and it has cooler temperature and it's more moist, and it's just like blowing towards the water, and it's like traveling. It's bringing all that cool air all over the land. And then during summertime, the monsoon is actually pulling in warm, dry air towards the low pressure system that sits inland, and it's just like circulating that, and it changes throughout the year. And